Welcome into Rockets Today, presented by PrizePicks. I am your host, Jeremy Chuggs, and coming up on today's show, Rockets center Alperen Sengun has been receiving a ton of hate since the Rockets have been bounced out of the NBA playoffs. I'll tell you exactly why he is getting all this hate, and is it actually warranted? Thank you for clicking into today's show. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and help me out. Newest NBA channel here at Chat Sports is us here at Rockets Today, so appreciate all of y'all for joining me in this video. First up, let's talk about why he's receiving all this hate. Alperen Sengun was recently voted the most overrated player in the NBA by his own peers. The NBA players all voted throughout the year, and Şengün received 12.3% of all votes for the most overrated player in the league. Next up was Rudy Gobert at 8.6, Trae Young tied at 8.6, Karl-Anthony Towns at 7.4, and Paolo Banchero at 4.9%. Simple question for you to start off today's show. Is Alperen Sengun the most overrated player in the NBA? Did the NBA players get it right? What do you think? I'm interested to see your takes down below in the comment section, because personally, I don't agree. I don't think he is the most overrated player in the National Basketball Association. And not only me, another former Rockets player agrees with my take. That would be Chandler Parsons. He was talking on a podcast, and this is what he had to say on Şengün being the most overrated player voted by his peers. I mean, I just think that the fact is, like, Tyrese Halliburton last year, he's not overrated. He took the Indiana Pacers to the NBA Finals. This is kind of a personality contest. Şengün, you might not love him as a person, but he's not overrated. Şengün is the closest thing we have to Jokic. Overrated is probably the last word I would call him. Now, you could be overpaid or something like that, but overrated, come on. Give me a break. This guy is a stud. He's an all-star. Yeah, he kind of floats and disappears sometimes, but I don't think, I don't really think he's overrated. It's not my vote who would be overrated. This guy, 7-footer, can do everything. And I completely agree, right? Like, a lot of the criticism was around him flopping and him, barking at the refs for calls. What does that really have to do with, I mean, maybe the flopping at some level, but, him complaining to the refs, what does that have anything to do with his play on the court, right? Like, I feel like, he's hated on because, he does get calls and he does, somewhat flop. We all see whenever he's backing guys down, the hands flailing, the flopping in the air. But I also do feel like it is something around foreign players, because you saw who was the second highest, rated for most overrated. Another foreign player in Rudy Gobert. So I do think at some level, a lot of these guys just aren't a fan of foreign ball players, because when you look at his stats this year, he put up the most minutes per game that he has in his entire career so far, and he averaged 20.4 points per game, 8.9 rebounds per game, 6.2 assists from the center position. That's very impressive. 51.9 field goal percentage, and 30.5 from behind the arc. So saying that, Şengün is not a good player or he's overrated, I think that's more of, like Chandler Parsons said, more of a, personality and, a popularity contest than indicative of his actual play on the court. So coming up, I'm going to tell you actually why I think he might be voted most overrated. These are some things that I think he needs to improve on. Now, like I said, I don't think he's overrated. I think he's a good ball player, but he still can improve going into next season, and I'll tell you where he can improve here in just a moment. Before I do, though, quick word from our sponsor over at PrizePicks, America's #1 fantasy sports app out there for good reason. Playoff basketball, even though it's going on without our team, it's still going, and it's on fire right now, and you can put in player lineups for every single game. Not only player lineups, with the new team picks feature, you can pick winners, spreads, totals, all on the same app that you love to do those player lineups. And it is super simple with just the click of a button. Really easy to use. And if I'm looking at, PrizePicks and putting in a lineup for playoff basketball, like I said, all you need is 2 to 6 players and select more or less on their stat projections. We're talking, basketball, you can go points, rebounds, assists, three-pointers, and several other categories. A lot of fun ones, too. You can combo players. You can do, three-point attempted, three-point makes, double-double, all of them available. And, here's just, an example. I'm filming this on May 7th. So this is a lineup for, I believe this is for tonight's game, right? Yeah, the day that I'm filming this. Cade Cunningham, it's less on the assists than Donovan Mitchell, more on the points. You see that little demon next to it? That means the payout multiplier goes up a little bit. It might be a little bit tougher to get, right? And then James Harden. I miss James Harden in H-Town. I'm going the more on his assists. The green means it's a goblin, which means the payout multiplier a little bit less, but could be a little bit easier to do. You can make a lineup just like this, or you can copy my lineups if you give me a follow on the social feeds feature, Jeremy_Chugs. For new users, though, listen up because I have a special deal for you. Download the PrizePicks app today with the link in the comments and description and use code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. All right. Let's look at where Alpy can improve going into next season. Number one, his conditioning. I obviously just told y'all, he played the most minutes that he has in his entire career this season for the Houston Rockets. But down the stretch, right, like in the playoffs, there were critical moments where he had to get subbed out of the game. Like he couldn't stay in. He was out of breath, wasn't able to, be in the game for some key moments for this Rocket squad. And not only, conditioning, staying in the game, but being able to sprint up and down the court. We saw it, we've all seen the memes. We've all seen the people making fun of Alperen Sengun running up and down the court. For somebody who's 7 foot, obviously he's not going to be the fastest guy on the court, but you would like to see him be able to, pick up speed a little bit more, maybe a little bit more burst, a little bit more acceleration next season for Alperen Sengun. Number two, bulk up and rebounding, especially defensive rebounding. When you look at his stats from last year to this year, he actually averaged one less defensive rebound per game this year than he did last year. And that was a huge problem up against the Lakers in the playoffs, right? How many times did we see where the Lakers got 2, 3 offensive rebounds on a possession and ended up banking in a three-pointer or hitting a three-pointer from the wing because the Rockets just couldn't grab a board, right? And that wasn't a problem early on in the season when we were running those two double big lineups with him and Steven Adams. But whenever he was the only big on the court, he was kind of getting out-rebounded by DeAndre Ayton there in round one. So you'd like to see him bulk up a little bit and really focus on grabbing those boards on the defensive end. And the last part where I really would like to see him improve, and this is where I think the Jokic comparisons, yeah, they're fun, and he does play a lot like Jokic. He's able to, facilitate the ball, have it at the high post or have it at the top of the key and be able to move the ball around. But he needs a better three-point shot, right? He needs to improve that three-point shooting to be more like a Nikola Jokic. I feel like that is an underrated part of Jokic's game where Alpy, he's just not there yet, right? If we look at his three-point percentage by year going in, his rookie season, not great, 24.8 on 1.6 three-point attempts per game. 2022, a lot less three-point attempts, 33%. Right here, 2023, 29.7. He got up to 30.5 this year on 1.8, which, in terms of volume and three-point percentage, this might be the best year that he's had in his career so far. But there were times down the stretch where he wanted to let it fly. He was wide open at the three-point arc, and he shot it, and it was an absolute horrible shot. And, Ime got pissed at him. And I remember one game in specific, right? He took a three-point shot. It was an awful shot. Immediately got pulled from the game. So I think that if he's able to at least knock down when he's open, right? If he's wide open, if they're backing off him at the three-point line, he's got to be able to hit that three-point shot to at least make it a threat where, they can't pack in the paint whenever he's at the three-point line and, take away some backdoor cuts, take away some slashing lanes for the other Rockets players surrounding him on the offensive end. If he improves all three of these, metrics, these 3 points in his game, I think nobody in their right mind would be able to vote him as the most overrated player in the NBA. All right, that's all I have for you on today's show, folks. Make sure to give me a follow on X at Jeremy Chugs. My DMs are always open. And if you made it to the end of today's video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are a new channel here at Chat Sports. We are probably one of the fastest growing channels here at Chat Sports in terms of our NBA channels. I want to be a powerhouse next year. The way we do that is you got to hit that sub button. It's 100% free. Prove my boss is right. that they allowed me to start this Houston Rockets channel here at Rockets Today.